peak gravel? Have we reached it, or is there more progression in the gravel space? I'm here at Sea Otter Classic 2024 to find out. I asked a whole bunch of people their thoughts on the topic. And of course, let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Right, let's dive in.
There is absolutely more space for bikes to develop in gravel. I mean, gravel's a fairly new discipline, so I don't think we've reached peak gravel by any means. I think that the biggest spot where we can make improvements is tires. I just think that the industry has gravel tire size wrong, and the proof of that is that in road and mountain biking, tire size has only increased throughout the years, and I think we're going to see the exact same thing happen with gravel. People right now are running 40s, 45s. I wouldn't be surprised if, give it 5 to 10 years, we're seeing 50s, 55s, which is going to blow people's mind that I just said that right now, but I'm already doing it. Like the tire that I ran at Mid-South was a 53, and that's typically a course that people would be running 40s on traditionally. So I think that will be a huge difference, mainly because people right now with the tires that they're running are flatting in gravel races way too frequently. And then also I think that the rolling resistance is lower with a tire that wide.
You put drop bars on a mountain bike recently, haven't you?
I have, but
is that in one way the future then, just mountain bike tires?
So in some ways I think gravel bikes should be more like mountain bikes, and in other ways I think gravel bikes should be more like road bikes. I'm coming at it from the performance perspective, but in ways that they should be more like mountain bikes is that they should have wider tire clearance. In ways that they should be more like road bikes is they should be more aerodynamic. My ideal gravel bike would be essentially an aero road bike that can fit mountain bike tires.
What's your view on suspension on gravel bikes? There's Cane Creek.
Yeah. I've seen the Cane Creek fork. It looks very interesting. I'm actually playing around with the Louth fork.
Yes.
Which I really like, and I'm gonna have a wind tunnel video talking about this in the future, but there's some very surprising results with that fork from a wind tunnel. I won't give away too much, but that's all I'll say for now.
There's more aero.
I'm not gonna say.
I think that is a hot topic right now in regards to gravel bikes. A lot more people are becoming very comfortable of knowing the ins and outs about gravel bikes. But to say that we've peaked, I don't think that we have. We're starting to define that category in the industry as to really build components specifically for gravel bikes. Historically we've adapted, we've mashed up, road and mountain bikes here and there. And yeah, by all means, there has been gravel stuff coming, along the way. But it's really a cornerstone to the industry now. So I think there'll be more to come. Gravel is starting to categorize. There's definitely the pinnacle of I'm a race intended gravel minded person, or I'm just want to get off the roads and explore. And you're starting to see enough following within the space to support both audiences. And I think that's where this is really going to flourish. Is gravel isn't just one thing. For a lot of people, it's X, Y, or Z, and for a lot of people it is X, Y, and Z. And so I think there is still a little bit more runway. Tire sizes are starting to find their sweet spot around that, anywhere from as small as 38 up to 45. The fringes go down to 35 and 50, but people are finding ways to carry load, set up their gearing appropriately and let gravel breathe in its own space. So I don't think we've hit the peak yet, but things are improving year over year.
The funny thing about gravel is it means so much to so many different people. Here we are at Sea Otter, you've just ridden down from San Francisco on a lot of trails. You and I have ridden in the Dublin and Wicklow Mountains. It's just totally different. So I don't know if it's going to be a one-size-fits-all when it comes to gravel. A lot of people are riding essentially what a lot of people would ride, hardtail mountain bike courses on gravel. So I definitely don't think we've hit peak gravel at all. I think we'll see maybe a subsector with some suspension, but overall, I just think, big clearance and versatility. We tried to build as much as we could of that into the Assassin with a very minimal weight penalty. So for an additional 90 grams, you can do a ton more stuff. So that's the way we see it continuing.
I think there's still room. I don't know that it's on the suspension side. I just think bigger tires have so much cush built into lower pressures that a lot of the comfort gains are there. I think, honestly, for me, a few years ago, when gravel came out, it was sort of just like, okay, this is a 45 mil clearance, like cyclocross bike, maybe a little more stable. And I think you're now seeing this kind of differentiation of category from more kind of some of these more all-road bikes and then getting into faster gravel and then more adventure kind of focused gravel bike packing. And I know a lot of people would just accuse the industry of trying to sell them more bikes, but I actually think that's amazing because, you know, it's, as a consumer, it's like, look at the kind of riding you do, and now there's probably a bike that's designed like almost exactly for it. So maybe as a retailer, you don't want to see like 9 different models across 3 categories, but as a consumer, I think it's awesome. And, you know, for us, for Bridge, like the Surveyor was almost like, pardon the pun, but bridging the gap between a road bike and a gravel bike and kind of saying like, okay, we think it can do both pretty damn well. And if you're going to do Tracka or Silk Road or something like that, then you want a full-on adventure bike that'll take a 50 plus mil tire. But I was finding most of my customers who are buying gravel bikes were still putting 38s and 40s on them. And so we kind of said, all right, well, if we say a 40 treaded tire is enough size for us for most gravel riding, we can actually keep the wheelbase tight and keep the handling closer to a road bike where, you know, that the kind of cheesy like N+1 killer mentality is like, we think, you know, for 90-something% of road to fast gravel riding, our bike will handle that well. But again, that's just like one category. You know, if you're like, well, but I want to go bike packing and run 50s a few times a year, then okay, get a gravel adventure bike that you can also ride as a faster gravel bike. So yeah, I think peak gravel, you know what, it's been hyped. I know on the race side, you had like this massive uptick and maybe it's plateaued a little. But I think gravel is such a good category. And I have so many friends who get into cycling and I say like, don't buy a road race bike, buy a gravel bike. You're pretty much just as fast and you can ride wherever the heck you want and avoid traffic and have those longer epic days. And so I think I almost think, you know, a bike like ours, like this all-road up to 40 mil tire clearance, like really it should replace road bikes for 90% of us consumers because, you know, Pro Tour race bikes are cool, but almost irrelevant for normal, even fast people. So to me, I almost want to see that reset where it's like an all-road bike is a road bike. Then you've got your gravel bike, then you got your adventure bike. And, you know, I didn't come up with this. I heard someone say, you know, 5 or 10 years from now, road bikes, pure road race bikes really should be like what triathlon bikes have become, where it's like, if you road race, sign up to race and win, yes, get a pure race bike. But for the rest of us who just want to ride fast, an all-road bike is kind of awesome.
I think we've got a long way to go. We're working on some super exciting stuff at Parley, and so I have a little bit of a glimpse as to what's coming. And there's, I think, you know, certainly as we're seeing gravel get more gravelly, you know, excuse that term, but, you know, getting a little bit more rowdy, I think we're seeing sort of the gravel space almost getting to where a hardtail was, but something you can just go out, have fun, rip around the woods and just get a little crazy with. And I think that bikes are having to work much harder to engineer in the compliance and stiffness both compliance and stiffness that you need to be able to maintain good traction. And I think that ultimately in the gravel space, traction's going to win. And so I think for us as bike manufacturers, there's a lot that we can continue to do and a lot that we can push there in terms of carbon fiber layup, geometry, and physical bike design to drive that.
For sure, there is a lot of space in the market for the gravel products in general. In a way, how can I say, like gravel is not just something that is going to be passing by. It's not. Probably has not reached its peak yet. Market is still segmenting. We still have to find the sweet spot for every single product in the market. So for sure, it's still gravel is picking up.
And you see Campag being a big part of that growing market?
For sure, that's the goal and that's the aim. I mean, we still have the products, the carbon fiber Ecar, the Ecar GT. We have the Levante in the carbon gravel wheel sets dedicated. Now we have the Zonda GTs. And of course, we are working on something new for the future. So we still see, hopefully we're going to see a lot of Camphill on the gravel segment as well.
So some interesting thoughts, opinions on the future of gravel. Of course, let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. And if you want to see a roundup of some of the best gravel bikes from Sea Otter Classic 2024, then watch the video on screen now. And of course, enjoy content like this, make sure to like and subscribe